certainly needs work. I think it's improved not solely because of him, but mostly because of him since last year. I wish we could get Tanae in this draft, but that's not going to happen.
You guys are in prime position too.
Yeah, no, but we need a different position a little bit more.
I actually went through a crazy scenario with a friend that involved a 3-team trade. The Jets end up getting Daniel Jones. The Giants end up getting the 2nd overall pick, and the Jaguars get the 1st overall pick, and then the Jets get 2 first-round picks in upcoming drafts and draft a quarterback next year. And it just ended up escalating to this crazy 3-year draft strategy.
I don't know if the fans could do that.
No.
after this year.
No.
I need at least something. And if Gase isn't fired by Black Monday, I'm done.
Give the man some credit. He's held on to a job much longer than he should have with 2 different teams. So.
Yeah, well, right now, the only reason I think he's still there is to command the tank and make sure that we go winless. But, we'll see what happens.
No, what you do if you want to go winless is you fire him and you hire Mark Sanchez. That's how you go winless.
I don't know, man. Teams that fire their shitty head coach get a bump for at least a game or 2, no matter who the replacement is.
And if you're in Miami, that bump is cocaine.
Yeah, that's very true. Especially if you look at Gase's eyes during a press conference. But
yep.
I think anyone saying that he's still here is out of their mind, and if they're not out of their mind, then I will be out of my mind. Come the end of the regular season.
All right, we're gonna move on because we got the next offensive lineman, which is number 3. Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle from the Cleveland Browns. Again, Wills I don't think stands out as much because the Cleveland offensive line is actually pretty good. So it's harder to shine like a diamond when you're in a patch of cubic zirconia than it is to shine like a diamond when you're in a patch of shit. So...
Yeah, he's good, and he's been mostly healthy. That's the other knock on Becton is that he has had some injury things here and there, mostly minor. But Wills has been very good and has given Baker a lot more time.
And he also excels in the run game, which I don't know how any defense can look at the Browns' offense and say, so they've got Jarvis Landry, they've got, before he gets hurt, Odell Beckham Jr., they've got Austin Hooper, and they got David Njoku, and their running backs, by the way, are Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And be like, yeah, we got a plan for this.
Yeah.
You don't.
The league is kind of lucky that OBJ went down, because I can't even imagine what level he would have brought them to on top of that. Because I do think he was playing hurt last season.
Yeah, have you seen Donovan Peoples-Jones lately?
Yeah, he's looking really good.
Yeah.
The Browns are officially no longer what we know as the Browns, I think, having hit win 9. Obviously they lost a heartbreaker just the other night against the Ravens, but man, was that a good game.
I swear to God, Madden 21's onto something, because every time I do a a franchise and I don't do fantasy, it's always the Browns in the Super Bowl and the Cowboys have no more than 6 wins every time. Every time. So they're onto something. But anyways, so yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The Browns.
That was about all I had to say.
Browns are legit.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield. I mean, I don't know why he's not getting more talk about MVP candidate because he's playing out of his mind.
Most improved player candidate, certainly.
Definitely. We'll talk about this at a later time, but if your MVP, the top 3 MVP candidates aren't Russell Wilson, or we'll go top 4: Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, and Baker Mayfield, you're just wrong. It's them.
You could throw some Derrick Henry in there for a sprinkle, but it's tough to argue against some of those guys.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe anything you want to say about Jedrick Wills? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Dude's nuts.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Number 7, the Disc, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys.
Good.
I feel like the draft has been good to me this sports year because CeeDee Lamb fell to the Cowboys at 17. Obi Toppin fell to
8.
Yeah, fell to the Knicks at 8. And the Stars rookies were insane as well. So it's been a good season for drafts for my teams. But just
same.
Yeah, well, yeah. CeeDee Lamb, I don't know. The dude's already got like the best hands, like in the league almost. Like he's had a couple drops lately, but it feels like everything that's thrown his way he catches, and he takes a lot of big hits.
And hangs on. Obviously, Dak going down, I think, severely affected his ceiling. Dalton's not the worst backup to have, but he's not Dak. And Dak was airing it out to CD, and CD was looking like, I have him in at least one league, and he was creeping up into my second wideout position. And I've got good wide receivers. While Dak was healthy, he was creeping right up into him because he was just impressing. And then Dak went down, and his numbers have not recovered. I think he'd be in the conversation if Dak was healthy for Rookie of the Year.
I agree. There was one play where Andy Dalton just completely wide open overthrew CeeDee Lamb. And like Michael Gallup just stopped where he was, turned his head, and stared at Andy Dalton. And what's his name? The Amari Cooper just bust out laughing. Like it's... How do you overthrow someone so tall who has, like, great hands? Like, it just... We're talking about, like, old Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
Oh, man. This season has sucked. If the Cowboys had even a decent defense, even with Andy Dalton, their offense doesn't seem to have problems right now. It's their defense. So... CeeDee Lamb, loved that the Cowboys drafted him. We're talking about future Dallas Cowboys wide receiver number 1.
Yeah, bright future.
Yep.
Who else we got? Let's wrap this up.
We got 8, 9, and 10. Number 8, Julian Blackmon. He makes some plays. I don't know that I would have him this high. Especially when they got Jonathan Taylor. Again, this is week 12 that we're looking at, but Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, so.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have him that high either. He stepped in because they lost Hooker, I think, for at least a few games, and he's been pretty solid. Obviously, had a torn ACL before at the end of his last college season, so awesome to see him come back and be effective. But yeah, I wouldn't put him that high, but certainly someone to fear throwing to in the future as he continues to improve.
And then
let me ask you: Is T. Higgins on this list? Because we haven't talked about him.
T. Higgins is not on this list. There's some real notable missing names.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to T. Higgins because he is very impressive.
He absolutely is. We're going to move on to number 9. You were talking about that Patriots offensive lineman, Michael Onwenu.
Yeah, that's him.
Yep. 6th round draft pick. Dude's just doing it all. All right. He can play any position on the line except for maybe center, apparently. I don't know. But he just doesn't allow pressure. He's so versatile, and he's so good at what he's been doing. I'm not saying that he's going to be the greatest offensive lineman, but definitely has potential to be the best one this year.
Yeah, he held his own against Aaron Donald. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
He still struggles against, quicker guys, but for him to hold his own against that kind of power is great. And for a guard,
he gave up 0 pressures against J.J. Watt.
Yeah. And for a guard, you don't worry as much about quick guys coming in as you do about power guys coming in on the interior rush. So he'll be just fine, unfortunately.
Yeah, the only ones that he really would have to worry about would be like a lineman doing a stunt with a blitzing linebacker coming in the A gap.
Mm-hmm.
Which, obviously does happen, but, it's not every play. I think he's going to be just fine, and I think Patriots are going to have an offensive lineman that they can really build around. And not saying get back to that dynasty because Cam Newton looks like shit. But, he looks really good. And then we're going to close this list out with Chase Claypool, wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, we've said it. Looks great. Incredibly talented. Fun to watch too. Like I like Chase Claypool. He's the second best Chase on the list, but still very good. All right,
he and Deontay have looked good, except Deontay's got the dropsies.
Yeah, and we could continue on with this list, 11 through 25. We just went through the top 10. 11 is T. Higgins. 12 is Antoine Winfield. Jonah Jackson from the Lions at 13. Patrick Queen at 14. Jalen Johnson from the Bears at 15. James Robinson, 16. Antonio Gibson, 17.
That's silly low. That is so silly low for James Robinson.
Yep, again, this is week 12. So
even week 12, that's silly low.
Antonio Gibson, 17. Jeremy Chin, 18. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 19. Jerry Jeudy, 20. Brandon Ayuk, 21. DeAndre Swift, 22.
Low for Ayuk.
Yep. Derek Brown, 23. Javon Kinlaw, 24. Damian Lewis, 25. So those are the top 25 according to ProFootballNetwork.com. So just real quick before we wrap this up, because we are running out of time. Offensive and defensive rookie of the year, who do you have go?
Offensive rookie of the year, Justin Herbert.
Okay.
And then defense, of course, is Chase Young.
All right. Dan O'Shea?
I was thinking either Herbert. Probably would have been Burrow if he hadn't gone down to injury. But I would say if not Herbert, then probably Justin Jefferson. I gotta agree with Chase Young, or maybe Winfield's been good. I'd have to go with Chase Young.
All right, I'm going to disagree with both of you. For offensive rookie of the year, I got Justin Jefferson. He's just been that good. And defense, I'm all in on Chin.
I like it.
Yeah, he's definitely grown on me. I didn't pay too much attention to him until I bought a box of football cards, and the one autograph in the box was a Jeremy Chin autograph.